Hi, I'm Brian Neese, Artistic Director of Lumen Rep Theater and the director of our upcoming production of A Small Fire. And here with me is
Brooks Anne Hayes, and I'll be playing Emily Bridges in A Small Fire.
Hey, Brooks Anne. I'm so glad you're part of this show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you've done?
Well, I am Brooks Anne Hayes. I've lived in Jacksonville for a long time, went to JU, and then went to the American Academy in New York, and lived in LA for a while, and I am just thrilled to be back on stage. It's been a while. COVID kind of did a number on stage work, but I've done a lot of TV and film in the meantime. So
Good. What drew you to either the story of A Small Fire or the role of Emily Bridges? What was the attraction there? And I know it was a bit of a bumpy road getting you up here, but
Yeah.
what was that attraction?
Well, when I first read this script, I wept after it was over, and I was like, "This is just a beautiful story." I loved it, and then I sat on it for a while, and I scared myself to death about doing it. And I tried to drop out. I texted Brian. I said, "I can't do it. I just can't do this." And Brian, God love you, called and convinced me that I could do this. And I'm so glad, because it is a beautiful script. And she is a challenging but wonderful woman to portray.
Yeah. And you mentioned challenging, and when we finally locked in and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I mean, I did tell you it's going to be challenging. It's going to require you to do some things you haven't done, me to do some things I haven't done.
And that scared me.
Yeah. So list a few of those challenges. What challenges has this role or this process maybe, or maybe this director presented you with?
Well, first and foremost, I have to say the physical challenge of being blind and deaf is probably the first thing you know. When you first read the script, that jumps out at you. Then after you start rehearsing, you kind of realize that's almost minor compared to everything else that she has to endure with her relationship with her husband, her daughter, her foreman on the job. And so the challenge has been, first she's kind of bitchy, and she does change and she makes a change, but the audience is not going to like her at first, I don't think. And you've got to somehow let them like her, not because of her physical ailments or problems that she has.
Pity.
Not a pity but almost an understanding of where this lady's coming from and why she was the way she was and why she's gotten to how she is by the end of the play. Yeah. And not because of just the physicality that she has to endure.
Right. And it draws attention to how, the physical is what we think connects us to other people. I can see you. I can smell you, I can hear you. And we think, well, that's why we're connected. And I think this play, through the character of Emily Bridges, focuses on something far, far more important with relationships. I wonder if you could speak to that.
The relationship with people. And I think everyone goes through, and I don't want to say problems in a marriage, but goes through changes and shifts in any relationship, whether it's a marriage or a partnership. And so you lose contact. Almost the longer you're with someone, you lose that, not just physical, emotional contact that you have with people. And this play, I think, allows you to, or hopefully makes the audience want to feel things for people, but in an emotional way and not just in a physical way.
Right.
And that's not always easy to do.
Right. especially when you're exploring the nature of time and how time, much like, I don't know, the erosion effect on water or wind on rock, time on a relationship can enhance and beautify, but can also erode that relationship. And I think this play looks at both sides of that.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes you examine. For me, even in performing this and working on this, I examine my relationship with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I find I do things like Emily has done, dismissive at times when you really shouldn't be dismissive. You should just listen. Yeah. Just realizing how much he puts forth in the relationship, and sometimes I'm not. It's not equal sometimes.
So I think I hear you saying if people come to this play, their marriages and life partnerships could be enhanced.
Well, let's hope so. I don't know if I could say, we're going to save a marriage here.
No.
No, I don't think we'll do that.
But it definitely gives you pause.
It will make you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It will make you think about how you deal or love.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Why does this journey matter? At Lumen Rep, we try to pick pieces that, yes, will challenge us, yes, are exceptional in their quality. This season, we're going with the theme of bold. We've made bold choices, and not only the content of this particular play, but the way that we are approaching it in production, which maybe we'll talk about in a minute, are some bold steps that should be very rewarding for those involved. Could fail in the attempt. Don't know. We'll see what happens. But why should people? Why does this journey or this story matter to people? Why does it matter to do this work, do you think?
Well, first thing I want to say is it is a play that no one is going to have heard of. They're not going to know this play. And sometimes that's the reason people go see shows. And they need to change that. They need to go see shows they don't know. Right. So I think that's one thing that has, really needs to be considered. But why is it bold? For one, there's 4 people in this cast. It is not a long play, but you get from point A to point Z in that amount and that small amount of time. And it's bold to find, or it's bold of the playwright to even, this play could be 3 acts.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
And he does it, and that's bold, first of all, and the amount of the things that go on in this play, and the rapidness that it happens. It's bold. It's bold on every one of the actors. I think every one of these actors will say, this is not a part that I would normally play.
Right.
And I think that's bold of the actors. I think the space we're performing in is a bold approach to this play.
We're in a church sanctuary.
We're in a church sanctuary with adult themes.
Yeah.
And you got to pray the walls don't crumble. Sometimes, but no, I think it's the entire play is bold. It's bold that Lumen has chosen this play because it isn't known. And you're going to have to attract people, hopefully, because there's talented.
Yeah.
There's talent involved.
There is a lot of it. Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think people will be moved.
I think if they're not, then they really need to kind of reevaluate.
They may have been dead before they walked in.
Yeah, exactly. They're tired.
Though the character names may be a little bit on the nose that the playwright gave us. He calls the 2 main characters John and Emily Bridges, of course their daughter Jenny Bridges, before she is married. We've taken that though and run with it, and our byline for this play is "Some bridges won't burn," and I think that speaks to the relational nature of this. What do you see in there about relationships and that whole metaphor of burning bridges or not?
Well, I think our relationship bridge could easily have burned with what I had to go through or what I am going through. And these bridges don't burn. And I'm talking the name bridges. Right. but they don't. The marriage stays. He helps her, and that bridge just keeps going.
Yeah.
Those bridges, Emily and John bridges, keep going together.
It's a beautiful little sort of restoration of hope in the human project of humans connecting and finding a way to reconnect and reconnect and reconnect and buffer those bridges, rebuild those bridges in their weak parts and make them.
And it's something that in the weakest part, they become stronger.
That's good.
In a relationship.
Yeah, that's good. So I'd like to ask you this. With Lumen Rep, we're trying to do some different things for Northeast Florida in some different ways, both for audience members, but also for the artists involved in what we're doing, providing a professional level of quality, forward-facing, but also a professional process as the framework. So I'd like to ask you, as an actor who's acted plenty on stage, plenty in film, what unique approaches have you seen this production taking? What has been unique that you think is maybe a little crazy, a little out there? What has been unique that you've never encountered before?
I've never encountered the warm-ups that we do. I've never done that before, which is unusual because I have, studied a lot, and that's never been used. What is it, Suzuki?
Suzuki method.
Suzuki method. Learn it. I love it.
Good.
I really do. I can see if we had a longer rehearsal process, how it would really, motivate and change directions.
So maybe some week-long or multi-week-long intensives for actors.
I think would be a great thing. I think that would be awesome.
It equips you in ways that to do things
It grounds you.
Yeah.
I love doing it before rehearsal because it really grounds you. I think, let's see, what else? Challenging? Is that what you're asking me?
Challenging, unique approaches. Yeah.
I think one of the unique approaches is your directing, where you sort of leave it up to us, and then you say no, or you say keep that. Let's move. Let's change this a little bit. But I never feel like anything we do is wrong.
Great. That's great.
A lot of times that happens when you're rehearsing and playing. You do something, and the director's like, "Oh my gosh, what was that?" And it really throws you off. Yeah. And I like that whatever we do is right, but there may be a better choice. Sure. And I love that.
Would you say it feels like a partnership, a creative partnership?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And this is stupid.
No.
But we always start on time.
We do, don't we?
I love that. We start on time and we end on time, and I love that.
Yeah. And by the way, she's already being paid. She didn't have to say any of that. So. And I will throw in one thing for audience members, but potential audience members, that we've decided that this play is actually a film. It's a short film, but you're going to see it in a theater space in San Marco Church that we are converting to somewhat of a performance space. And by the way, speaking of bold, San Marco Church is bold to not only
to let us be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we decided it's a film, we are doing some very unique things with sound and light and movement that you just will not see this type of approach and presentation in hardly any plays anywhere, much less here in Northeast Florida. So I'm excited to try.
And I will say that right now that challenge hasn't really shown itself because we're not into sound. The tech part hasn't popped in yet. I can see where that will be a challenge, not just for us as actors, but the sound designer, the lighting designer, the set designer. I can see where that would be a challenge.
And that's why that creative partnership is all the more important, because you're not people on an island doing something and then hoping it works. You're people who are engaging together to make sure it all works.
And as much as of a challenge it is, I think everyone, lighting, sound, I think there's an enjoyment in accepting that challenge.
It is, yeah.
Like, oh, good, I'm not just going to light the stage and then just sit here till it's black out.
Yeah. They get to try something
Yeah.
new.
And they get to try. That's it. They're creating as much as we, the actors, are creating.
And I will say this last thing. I think that this title of this play, A Small Fire, though it has multiple metaphorical meanings for the content itself, for Lumen Rep Theater and what we are attempting to do and the process that we're all involved with as creative partners, we embrace that idea of light a little flame that nobody else is willing to light, and then see what happens, see how it spreads. And to have you on board with this, and to have some of the other amazing cast members and tech folk that we have involved.
There's some good ones on here.
There's a fire blazing, and it's exciting to watch you all do your thing.
Well, I'm just thrilled to be involved in this. And I've been involved in the background with Lumen box office. But I'm thrilled to be doing a show with Lumen.
Well, I can't wait to see you soar on that stage. Thanks for talking with me.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Be sure to catch Lumen Rep Theater's production of A Small Fire by Obie winner Adam Bock, playing February 16th through March 2nd at historic San Marco Church.